Well, let's talk now to Professor Franco Rizzuto, who's a trade law expert at Liverpool Hope University. Welcome to the programme, Professor. So after much talking at this meeting, some agreements were finally made. What do you think the most important were?
Good evening, everyone. Well, if I was a total cynic, I would say this is much ado about nothing, to quote Shakespeare's title of a play. However, I think your correspondent probably got it right. They had to come to some agreements in order to signal that they still exist. But if you actually look at the detail of the agreements, they are frankly minimalist, to say the least. So a lot of noise. I think the adjective unprecedented was used, but frankly, there's a lot more to do.
Well, the head of the WTO says the agreements will make a difference in the lives of people around the world. It sounds like you don't agree with her.
It's not that I don't agree. The can has been kicked down the road, if you like. If you look at the detail, for example, of the fishing agreement, the end of subsidies for fishing, well, there are lots of aspects to that agreement that are excluded. So, for example, the cost of fuel and so on. Also, the procedure to actually stop subsidies relies on the goodwill of the enforcing states. I'm not sure that works. As far as the COVID agreement is concerned, well, fine, but actually it's for a limited period of time, and it excludes all sorts of issues that are going to become increasingly important, though one could say that it might be useful if it is extended and we get further surges of that pandemic, COVID. There might be future ones, so it could be a model. As to food security, no, frankly, I think that it doesn't really deal with the fundamental issues facing food shortages because of the conflict in the Ukraine. Of course, it does make it easier than perhaps it is at present for certain agencies of the United Nations to actually purchase food aid for example, the World Food Organization, to purchase food in order to help the most food impoverished, if you like. But I don't want to belittle what's happened. I think it's important that something happened because, frankly, since the Trump presidency, the organization has been almost a dead organization walking. So it's come back to life. Let's put it that way. But there is a lot to be done. And I think the point about reforming the voting system, getting states that are fundamentally at odds over the progress, if you like, of trade and trade talks, the developing world, the world that has emerged, India, Brazil, China, not to mention Russia, though that's in Never Never Land right now, against the European Union and, of course, the United States, not to forget Japan and South Korea. So a lot to be done. Remember, we still don't have an appellate system, the judicial system of the organization, that basically stopped working because the Americans haven't nominated or have blocked the nomination of appeal court judges. So we got a problem there. And that's not going to happen until at least 2024. So in the meantime, I hope I don't sound too cynical, but realism is very important in these circumstances.
OK, Professor Franco Rizzuto from Liverpool Hope University, thanks very much indeed for talking to us today.